This man is Dave. He is a husband and father of 3 children. Every night, Dave and his wife Jamie always take turns taking care of their twin children. One night, it was Dave's turn to change the diapers. He looked troubled because both of his children were way too energetic. In the morning, Dave started his routine. Dave is a decent lawyer. He has never once lost a trial in his entire career. In his office, Dave met one of the beautiful employees named Sabrina. Dave had been hiding a crush on Sabrina and hoped that someday they could be dating. But Dave realized that it wouldn't be possible because he already had a wife. In Dave's office, he got a call from his best friend named Mitch. He reminded Dave about his promise to hang out in the evening. In the middle of the chat, someone knocked on Mitch's apartment door. When he checked, it turned out to be his father. He was there to tell Mitch about his upcoming wedding. He asked Mitch to attend it. Mitch immediately refused the invitation. He couldn't accept his father marrying another woman after his mother's death. Hearing that made his father disappointed. That evening, Dave and Mitch were hanging out together at a bar. There, Mitch told Dave that he was offered a job as the main protagonist in a movie. He said that he could meet many beautiful women in the shooting location. When they walked home, Dave said that he envied Mitch's life. Mitch was always free to date any girl he wanted while he had to go to work and took care of his twin children. Mitch said that Dave should be more grateful to have everything, a good career, a beautiful wife, and 3 cute children. In the middle of the walk, Dave and Mitch suddenly needed to go to the toilet. They decided to pee on a goddess fountain. When they were taking their time dealing with their own business, they both confessed their envy inside of their heart. Dave envied Mitch's life and Mitch envied Dave's life. Suddenly, the city went all dark for a couple of seconds. They didn't mind it and continued their business. The next day, when Mitch was just woken up, he was shocked to see Jamie breastfeeding her child beside him. He got even more shocked to see Dave's face in the mirror. He realized that he had swapped bodies with Dave. On the other hand, Dave was also confused when he found out that he was in Mitch's room. Not long after that, someone knocked on the door. When he opened the door, he was surprised to see his body in front of his eyes. Mitch then explained everything to Dave. They then realized that they might have swapped bodies that night when they peed on the goddess fountain. They then rushed to the fountain, only to find out that it was already moved. One of the workers said that if they wanted to know where the fountain moved, they had to go to the city government office. They both immediately went there. One of the administration employees there told them that she couldn't find the fountain anywhere. When they asked why she couldn't find it, the employee said that she couldn't use the computer. She suggested they came back the next day when someone who could use the computer showed up. Mitch couldn't contain his emotion and almost made a scene, but Dave swiftly controlled the situation. When both of them went out of there, Dave suddenly realized that he had to attend a meeting while Mitch had to take some shooting sessions as an actor. Felt that there was no other choice, Mitch suggested they swap places. Mitch pretended to be Dave as a lawyer and Dave pretended to be Mitch and attended the shooting session. At the law firm's office, Mitch tainted Dave's reputation by casually wearing the suit. He also brought a lot of snacks from the pantry. Furthermore, he even messed up the meeting by answering the thrown questions at him carelessly. He was out of his mind and made everyone in the meeting room mad. They then left the meeting. After that, Dave's boss dragged Mitch out of the room and went all out to scold him. Mitch quibbled that it was all his plan and that the boss should be worried about it. When Dave arrived at the shooting place, he was shocked to find out that the shooting that Mitch meant was a porn film shoot. He tried to cancel the shooting, but the director said that he would fire him if he didn't do it. He had no other choice but to do it. In the afternoon, Mitch came to the ballet school to pick up Dave's daughter, Kara. He was bullied in front of his eyes during the practice and didn't fight back against the bully. On their way home, Mitch said that Kara had to fight back against the bully to defend herself. Kara wanted to fight the bully, but her father always said that every problem can be solved without violence. Because of that, Mitch instead ordered her to forget what Dave told her from now on because he believed that everything can be solved with violence. At night, Mitch met Dave at a cafe there. There, he explained what had happened during the meeting in the afternoon. With all the trouble he had in the shooting place and the meeting that Mitch had ruined, Dave couldn't contain his anger. He was fed up with everything that had happened that day. He intended to tell his wife. At his house, Dave tried to explain everything, but unfortunately, Jamie didn't believe it. Dave then asked Jamie to ask something that only Dave knew, but when he was asked, he couldn't even answer it. Frustrated, Dave spilled Jamie's bad habit in front of Mitch and made her angry at both of them. At night, when Jamie and Mitch were asleep, Dave's twin children suddenly cried. Jamie then told him to take care of them since that night was Dave's turn to do it. Mitch refused to do it. Jamie got mad and forced him to do it. Mitch didn't know what to do to calm down the children. He then called Dave. Dave on the phone explained what he had to do, from bringing the children to the kitchen to how to prepare the milk and heating it in the microwave. But alas, the twins were not his match.
Holy fuck! Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, dude. Everything's fine, dude. Fuck. This is so fucked. Hey, hey! that fucking fountain. I can take.
They played with kitchen utensils and almost injured themselves. The next day, Dave came back to the city government office. One of the employees there asked him to fill out a search application form. He was also required to wait for 3 days until the request was approved. Dave couldn't do anything but accept the condition. Dave then went to his apartment to tell Mitch about the issue, only to find out his wife crying while changing the twins' diapers. Jamie said that her husband's behavior was strange lately. She thought that he might have an affair with another woman. Hearing that, Dave tried to calm his wife and then scolded Mitch for what he had done. He scolded him for making his wife think that he had an affair. Mitch said that he couldn't stand it anymore and chose to go back to his apartment. Dave told him to not run away from the problems. Dave then teach Mitch everything he needed to know, from how he usually suited, checking his schedule, taking Kara from school, and taking his twin babies from the daycare. At the office, when Dave was explaining how he worked as a lawyer, suddenly Sabrina came to see him. Looking at how beautiful Sabrina is, Mitch got the idea to matchmate himself with her. He told Dave, who was in Mitch's body, to date her in exchange for doing everything Dave said to him. He thought that if Sabrina dated Dave, who was in his body, he would be able to date her later after he returned to his body. He then asked Sabrina to date Dave. Since Sabrina didn't know the fact that the one who was talking to her was Mitch inside her boss's body, she agreed to it because Dave was her boss and she had to obey what her boss ordered her. When she went out of the office, Mitch forced Dave to date her and promised to do all he asked before in exchange for it. Dave finally agreed. When Dave went out of the room, suddenly Mitch got a call. It turned out that Mitch's father was trying to contact Dave. Mitch's father, who didn't know about his son's problem, thought that he was talking to Dave and asked him for help. Mitch then agreed to meet his father as Dave. At the meeting, Mitch's father asked Dave to help him to persuade Mitch to come to his wedding. Mitch's father said that he really loved his son, despite all Mitch's bad behavior, like running away from problems, irresponsible nature, or the fact that he tended to give up easily. Hearing how his father despised him, he was irritated and immediately left his father. In his car, he thought about what his father thought about him and decided to prove his father wrong. He made up his mind to do what Dave had taught him.
Alright, let's do this.
What are you doing?
I got this one. Hand-folded 24-inch samurai sword, chop chop.
At one moment, when Mitch came to watch Kara's ballet show, he saw Kara, who usually just kept quiet when being bullied, finally dared to fight back against it. Seeing that made him proud of her. A few days later, Dave, who knew that today was Jamie's schedule for shopping, went to the store and waited for her. When he saw Jamie, Dave acted like their meeting was just a coincidence. He then asked her about her husband's attitude at home. Jamie told him that now, everything was fine. Her husband was back like how he used to be. Hearing the story, Dave was relieved. He didn't need to go through the burden of worrying about Mitch anymore. The next day, he woke up and started to get through the day. Without having to think about problems again, Dave could enjoy life more like what he had dreamed of ever since. Until the date night with Sabrina finally came. At the dinner with Sabrina, Sabrina said that she wasn't feeling like it to date him, but after they spent their night together, Sabrina started to like him. She even said that she didn't want to end the night early and invited Dave to get a tattoo. The more they spent time, the more Sabrina got comfortable with Dave. The next day, while getting ready to go to the office, Jamie reminded Mitch about their promise in the night to have dinner together. It turned out that all this time before he swapped bodies with Dave, Dave was always busy with his work, making his relationship with his wife worse. Mitch then promised Jamie to come on time. At the park, when Dave was skating, the city government office called him to inform him that they finally managed to find the cursed fountain. After he got the address, he rushed to meet Mitch. At Dave's office, Dave met Sabrina. Sabrina invited him to a baseball match and had already bought the tickets for them. Dave didn't want to go at first, but Sabrina kept forcing him to come. Finally, Dave agreed to go with her. Dave then informed Mitch about the cursed fountain's whereabouts, but they both looked not too happy with it. Mitch, who had never felt the warmth of a family and had never been praised by anyone, had finally experienced it with Dave's body. Mitch then said to postpone swapping back their body and reasoned that now, he had to study for tomorrow's mediation meeting. Dave also agreed because he also had an appointment with Sabrina. They both decided to postpone it. That night, Mitch, who was too excited to attend tomorrow's meeting, continued to study all the meeting materials to the point that he forgets that he has an appointment with Jamie. While at the restaurant, Jamie kept waiting for the arrival of her husband until late at night. The next day, the mediation meeting started. In the meeting room, all of Dave's co-workers looked nervous, waiting for the results of the negotiations with their company investors, until one of the employees informed them that the investor only wanted to buy shares in their company at half of the agreed value. They were all disappointed, but Mitch had an idea to get back the original agreement. The idea was that they would all threaten the investor by leaving the meeting room if their request was not approved, and they would look for another investor. Mitch's boss, who thought the idea was reasonable, decided to try it.
For the record, I did not support.
Sir! Chicken Cobby has agreed to $725 million.
Oh my God!
Their plan succeeded. They locked the agreement. On the other hand, Dave and Sabrina seemed to be enjoying their time watching the baseball game together. But in the middle of the game, the rain suddenly poured. Dave then took Sabrina to Mitch's apartment. It was just the two of them, and the rain outside made the condition more intimate, making them almost made out. When they were just about to start, Dave accidentally saw a butterfly tattoo on Sabrina's waist. He immediately remembered his daughter, Kara, who liked the butterflies. Dave realized what he was doing was wrong. He realized that there was nothing more valuable than his family in this world. He then asked Sabrina to stop and leave. On the other side, in Dave's office, the company held an event to celebrate the successful meeting in the afternoon. At that event, Dave's wife and children were also present. At the event, Dave's photo was shown, from the very start of his career until now, in his prime condition. Mitch was silenced. He realized that all this success belonged to Dave. It wasn't him. Everyone praised Dave, not him. In the middle of the applause, Mitch chose to leave, but only a few steps after, Dave came and immediately kissed Jamie. After that, Dave and Mitch went to the place where the fountain had moved. They were surprised to know that the fountain was inside the mall. Because they had no other choice, both of them decided to do it in front of the crowd. When they were doing it, some security guards saw them and tried to stop what they were doing. Amid the panic, Dave and Mitch rushed to say their wish.
Hey! Come on! I wish I had my old life back! Life back! Bingo! Nice! Go!
The first one didn't work. When they said it the second time, the lights suddenly turned down, and when the lights back, both of them had completely vanished. At night, Dave was suddenly woken up by the sound of his baby crying. When he opened his eyes, he was surprised because he had returned to his body. Dave immediately woke Jamie and kissed her. After going through so many problems, Dave realized that he hadn't been a good husband. He promised from now on, he would change and fix all his mistakes from the past. He promised to spend more time with his family. On the other hand, Mitch was also happy when he found out that he had returned to his body again. Not long after Sabrina came, he went there to apologize for what happened yesterday. Mitch, who liked her from the beginning, shrugged it off and invited her for breakfast. A few days later, Mitch attended his father's wedding. His father was really happy when he saw Mitch finally come to his wedding. A few days passed and it was Dave's turn to hold a wedding anniversary party for him and Jamie. Mitch and Sabrina also attended the celebration. There, Mitch came forward to greet everyone and gave congratulatory speeches for his best friend. At that moment, Mitch expressed his feelings. He was very grateful to have a friend like Dave. He remembered that Dave once dreamed of becoming a great lawyer while he dreamed of becoming a dolphin trainer. Unfortunately, he ended up as an adult film actor, but whatever problem they had, they both remained best friends who would always support each other.